Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Offices Adda 24/7. My name is Niharika Walia Bhatnagar, and I am with you with the area of JAIIB. I hope you had a good examination of PPB. Please keep on updating me as well regarding your marks and all. How did your examination go for PPB? As per the analysis that I've heard, that in terms of PPB, this time the examination of PPB was a little tough, and at the same time, the second shift was tougher. So, is that true? So, please keep me updated regarding the same. I'll be waiting in the comment section for your comments there. Now, what else I'm going to cover today? Today I'll be covering with the area of various concepts that we can quickly take up for this particular session. I hope you had been going through the particular classes already. In case you haven't gone through, you can join the JAIIB Telegram channel as well, in which I've shared all the PPB, all the AFM marathon questions so that you can prepare properly. Okay? So please keep on sharing this particular session, everyone. This specific session is conducted for all the bankers who had been looking forward towards the last minute preparation regarding JAIIB. So please share the session as well as like the session as well. Okay, here comes the first question. It says Mr. A started supply of goods in Delhi. He is required to obtain registration in his aggregate turnover exceeds dash during the financial year. Okay, this part is probably wrong in the Macmillan book there. When we talk about GST registrations, the registrations for the main states, and there are certain states which have been chosen where there is a little relief. In normal states, that is other than the special ones, the registration is required at 40 lakhs for goods and 20 for those which are special ones, special category states. When we talk about services, it is 20 and 10. These are the two specific registration requirements as in terms of both the goods as well as services, because GST is applicable on goods as well as services. So in this case, the answer is 40 lakhs. 10 lakh, 40 lakh, 30 lakh, 50 lakh. Among these, the correct answer is 40. In a few of the Macmillan books, they have given 20 lakhs, but the actual limit is 40. Okay, next question. IGST is applicable when the supply is interstate, intra-UT or all of the above. IGST means interstate. Basically, what was happening was that in terms of two organizations, we are keeping two organizations, right? One is inter, one is intra. At this point of time, when we talk about inter, that is between two states, and intra is within one state exclusively. So this is the particular scenario there. So interstate and intrastate or intra-UT. When we talk about IGST, IGST is applicable in such a way that in this case, IGST would mean it would be interstate. When two states are involved, then the entire amount goes to the center. Okay? This is called integrated goods and service tax. The answer is interstate. Next question. The chairperson of GST Council is. Who is the chairperson of GST Council? GST is basically headed by CBIC. The department is CBIC, Central Board of Indirect Taxes of Indirect Taxes and Customs. And who is the chairperson of this particular council, everyone? Who is the chairperson of this particular council? Prime Minister of India, Finance Minister, Ministry of State of Finance, or none of the above. Always remember, GST is headed by the center. That means it has nothing to do with the state. So in this case, what would be the answer? Prime Minister or the Finance Minister? In this case, the correct answer would be the Finance Minister. Okay? The answer is the Finance Minister of India. These questions have been somehow taken from the IIBF area itself. Next question, this is related to the area of ATD, everyone. In the previous examination, there were questions from ATC, ATD. These were given in the examination, so we are talking about this. Medical insurance premium incurred for a senior citizen is eligible for the deduction to dash under section ATD. 30, 50, 1 lakh or 60,000. Go ahead and share the session, everyone. And please don't forget to like it if you're there in the class. All the very best, Ravi sir. That's correct, Pritima ma'am. Interstate. Medical insurance premium in case of normal persons. Acha, let me just clarify the entire area there. In terms of ATD, when it comes to us, that is a person who is below the age of 60. For us, it has two things. One is 25,000 for medical insurance and 5,000 is for preventive insurance. This is for preventive. Now, when we talk about ATD, but now we are talking about the area of senior citizens. Instead of 25 here, it is 30 or 50. 30,000, 50,000, 1 lakh or 60,000. For them, when it comes to medical insurance premium, not preventive insurance. In this case, very good, sir. The correct answer is B. That is 50,000. The correct answer is 50. And they still have 5,000 rupees separate for preventive. That means for a person who is above the age of 50, for them it would be above the age of 60. Their ATD is up to 55,000. Then comes rebate under section 87A can be claimed by any resident, resident individual, any person or any person other than the non-resident. What would be the answer in this case? Any resident who is covered here. In terms of 87A, it is available to any resident. Manisha ma'am, you can clear it. उससे कम नहीं होने चाहिए. It should not be less than that. When we talk about 87A, it is available only to a resident individual. It is not available to others. This is available to only individuals. Anybody who is earning in terms of total less than 5 lakh, the entire tax, that is either the entire tax or 12,500 would be allowed to them as an exemption. They don't have to pay a single penny of tax there. Next point, tax to be collected at source in case of motor vehicle value exceeding 2 lakh 50, then 5 lakh, 7 lakh 50 or 10 lakh. Do you know in our country, the TCS is applicable there? TCS is 1% on the vehicles which are above 10 lakh rupees. Okay? So if you have a vehicle which is above 10 lakh rupees, then 1% has to be deducted by the dealer and given to the department there. That this particular person has bought a particular car worth rupees more than 10 lakh. So this is the 1% TCS that I have collected for them. That means now the income tax department knows that I have the capability to buy a car worth rupees 10 lakh. Now they can check my accounts and see whether I have that kind of income or not. No problem, ma'am. Okay, everyone, next point. TDS on interest on securities is covered under which section? In the book, they have covered one particular paragraph regarding TDS in which they have just talked about 194IA. 194IA, I'm just telling you about the important one because this is specified in the Macmillan book. So when we talk about TDS sections are already there, but when we talk about this specific section, 194IA, do you know to deduct TDS of someone, you need to have a TAN number. Just like we have PAN number for the one who files the return, TAN number is for the one who deducts the TDS for me. So now when we talk about TAN, under 194IA, I am buying a property worth rupees more than 50 lakhs. I just bought a land for me. And then I am making you a payment of say 70 lakh. I was paying 70 lakh to you. Now the income tax department never had a clue that I was making any kind of payment to you. So they said that Niharika ma'am, even though you are an individual, deduct 1% of the particular person for whom you are paying right now. So when you are making the payment to him, please pay 1% of it. Under 194IA, 1% of the amount would be deducted and would be given to the income tax department as if that this is the amount which we are paying off. So then you might have to work in the next two subjects in a better way. I couldn't get the entire message, Ashwin sir, but in the next two subjects, work harder so that your aggregate goes well. Because this will work out only in case of first attempt, and at the same time, I think if your aggregate goes well, it should be 50% now. You have to work harder in other two subjects, sir, to cover it up. Everybody join in and let me know what happened about your PPB examination and what are we going to do about AFM. Okay, the TDS on the interest on securities. Achha, I was talking about 194IA now. It is 1% in terms of individuals even. Normally, an individual cannot deduct TDS, but in this special case, yes, they can. Yes, so the second shift was very tough, and that is what even I heard from many bankers there. Everybody else, please let me know about your remarks regarding the examination. In this case, TDS on interest on securities. This is the securities on which this is the area where we talk about the there is one interest on securities. Their bank deducts the amount on the FD interest that I'm receiving. That is covered under 194A. When we talk about TDS on interest on securities, it is 193. If I receive any interest from the bank now, I receive interest under section 194A. That means the bank deducts TDS. The bank deducts TDS of 10% if they are making a payment to me in terms of the interest of rupees more than 40,000. Okay? The practical portion in terms of banking. Next question. What is the TDS rate for under TDS on dividend under section 194? 5, 10, 20 or none? Congratulations, sir. It's a good score. What is the TDS under 194? 5, 10, 20 and none. It is correct, Vanita ma'am. It is 10%. Let's move on to the next question. An individual gets an option to choose between existing tax rates and the new concessional tax rate under which section? Do you know the new taxation sections aren't really good enough? There are two kinds of sections. One is for company, one is for us. Both the sections are given here. So let me know what is the one for individual, and then I'll talk about the one for company as well. So in one question, we'll be doing both. In the book, there's a specific paragraph regarding the one new tax regime. But if you want to go through it, then you can check out the income tax website as well. They will give you the details regarding the entire tax regime. If you go through it, the new tax regime does not really support all the tax deductions. That is why more or less, most of the people do not take it. But anybody who is having an income of above 20 lakh, for them it will turn out to be beneficial. For us, it won't be. Right? Anybody who's having less than 20 lakhs, then for them it won't be helpful. For anybody who's above 20, then it is beneficial. Matlab, more or less, this is beneficial for the business persons who are having a sole proprietorship and getting good money out of it. Because salaried people are normally having a lot of tax deductions as well. So they tend to reduce their salary portion to, in terms of deductions, they reach at a lower amount. So the taxation comes out to be lower in case of an old tax regime rather than the new tax regime. Very good, Ashwin sir. The correct answer is BAC is for us. And Pata, there is one for companies as well. It is like 22% they can have. Normally, the companies have a taxation of 30%. They can have for 22% under BAA. Right? Next question, everyone. The next question says that which one of the following statements is not correct? Indirect income tax is a direct tax. Income tax is the same for individual and companies. Income tax is the different for domestic and foreign companies. The format of income tax return is different from that of different classes of assessee. Which one is not correct? First is definitely correct. But the rate is definitely not the same. For individuals, we follow the slab. For the companies, they have a flat rate of 30%. Very good, Nita ma'am. The correct answer is B. Next point. Which of the following statements is not correct? GST is aimed at broadening the tax base and also at a better tax compliance. There were many questions that were still left from the previous marathons. So I am continuing with B, and I think with D right now. After this, there would be a few questions of C. Let's see how many questions we can cover today. Rest I'll try to share on our Telegram channel as well. So please go through that area. I'll be sharing a lot of questions there. The Telegram channel is JAIIB exam 2023 Niharika ma'am. You can find it on the Telegram. I am sharing I've already shared the previous marathons. I'll be sharing the mini marathons and other details in that today only. Which of the following statement is not correct? GST is aimed at broadening the tax base, also a better tax compliance, and GST is charged only on the component of value addition. This is why it was added. It is value added tax. GST has resulted in doing business more difficult, or GST ensures the tax rate and structure are uniform across the country. Actually, three of these are basically the advantages. One of them is a disadvantage. So this is C. Because it has made things difficult. So I can say it is not uniform, but practical world, it has made things difficult. Next question, everyone. Which one of the following erstwhile taxes have been replaced by GST? Sales tax, excise, service, or all? Quick questions. When we talk about this, it is all. Sales tax be gaya, service tax is also gone, as well as excise. Excise and sales were on goods, while service was on specific services. So the answer is actually D. All of these are gone. Excise duty is still in use only in certain areas. It has been removed from all other areas. Sales tax is all gone. So the answer is all of the above. Next question. Accounting standards in India. This is a part of Unit A, Module A. Accounting standards in India recognize which of the following methods of depreciation, everyone? AS. Accounting standard in India, Ind AS 10 and 16. This is property, plant and equipment. Straight line, diminishing units of production. The correct answer is all of the above. But पता है income tax department recognizes only 2. Yes, Vanita ma'am. Overall, na, if I have to give all the names, SLM method is also known as original cost method. Anybody? So that in case of examination, you don't get affected with the fact ki what kind of name is given. First is original cost method. Number 1. Number 2, SLM method is also called straight line method, original cost, and it is also called fixed installment method. These are the 3 names of only SLM. When we talk about WDV, it is called written down value method, diminishing value, and fixed percentage. Done? Everybody please keep on sharing the session, and if you liked it, don't forget to share it as well. Among the following, which is a capital expenditure? Capital expenditure means the money that you are spending on assets, right? Maybe I'm buying an asset. That is the point. That is where we cover it up as capital expenditure. The cost of employee benefits arising directly from the construction or acquisition of an asset, cost of site preparation, then initial delivery and handling cost are all of the above. When we talk about capital expenditure, na, they are those expenditure which has to be incurred if I want to make the asset ready to use. It will become ready to use only when I'm allowing these things. You know? So in this case, the correct answer is D. Very good, everyone. Keep on answering quickly. Let's do maximum questions in the minimum time. Next question. Which of the following is correct? Replacement of defective part of machinery is revenue expenditure. Daily wages paid for erection, installation of machinery is a capital expenditure. Underwriting commission for the issue of shares is a revenue expenditure. And then excess of sale price of machinery over its WDV but less than the cost price is treated as revenue receipt. Okay, replacement of one part or the other part of a defective part and machinery is a revenue expenditure, and daily wages for paid for installation and of machinery, this doesn't make sense. Any money that you are paying for erection and installation, that is always a capital expenditure. But in this case, this point can also be said to be correct only in one case. Actually, underwriting is basically deferred revenue. Sandhya ma'am, the third one is a deferred revenue. While the first one, when we talk about the replacement, replacement of defective part is something if the capacity remains the same, then it would be a revenue expenditure. For example, there was a plug, the plug had a problem, I changed the plug, nothing else is happening. This is revenue expenditure, right? It is correct to such to an extent, but in this case, the correct answer, this underwriting commission has to be deferred revenue. Underwriting commission is actually normally capitalized. The B was correct. This question has to be rephrased. First of all, there is nothing called daily wage paid for erection. Whenever you are getting a machinery, when you are trying to install it, it is always a capital expenditure because it is for an asset. This question has to be changed. Okay? There, the B part is absolutely correct. When we talk about replacement of defective part, this question has to be made in such a way that in this case, they are saying the capacity remains the same. Then revenue is also correct. Underwriting commission for the issue of the shares, we do not take it as a revenue expenditure. To an extent, it is a part of the deferred revenue because we use that particular benefit. Acha, I asked the incorrect one. In that case, it is correct. The question said which is incorrect, then it is right. C is definitely wrong. Okay, I was giving the concept. Correct, ma'am. Thank you so much. I was asking about the incorrect portion. I thought the correct because these two are correct. This one is the wrong one. Very good, ma'am. The correct answer is C. Thank you, Sandhya, ma'am. Now comes the next question. Holder in due course. This is a question of bills of exchange. The holder of negotiable instrument is called a holder in due course when he satisfies the following conditions. Number one, he obtained the instrument for valuable consideration. He became a holder of the instrument before its maturity. Then we have, he had no cause to believe that any defect existed in the title of the person from whom he derived the title, or all of the above. Holder in due course in simplified version can be said as someone who is holding the bill till the day of maturity. Okay? That is why he's called holder in due course. He held that particular bill till the end. So that is why the answer is all of the above. Very good, ma'am. Yes, this is a live class, sir. Next question. When a bill by a drawee before due date, when a bill is paid before due date, some allowance is given to him. What is this allowance called? Sometimes you pay the money before time even, na? So this is rebate, discount, cash discount, noting charges. What will you call it? Normally, if I pay during the time period in which I have to get the payment done, then it is, the time tenure is already included. But what if I pay you in advance? So then you are bound to give me discount. That would be called a rebate. That is called a rebate. Discount can be cash discount even, right? I think we have done this similar question somewhere, maybe in the marathon or at any point of time. Next question relates to the era of the bills of exchange. According to Negotiable Instrument Act 1881, the following refers to an instrument in writing, not being a banknote or a currency, containing unconditional undertaking signed by the maker to pay on a demand or at a fixed or determinable future a time certain money only to or the order of a certain person or the bearer of the instrument. Promissory note, bearer, debentures, check or bills of exchange. This is bills of exchange. Promise is I promise to pay someone. Order is that I have been ordered ki you have to pay it. The difference between bills of exchange and promissory note is a fine line. Under promissory note, I promise you to pay such amount of money after such amount of time. That is promissory note. While when we talk about bills of exchange, I order you to pay me, or the person whom I tell you will be getting the money after so much time. Okay? This is the difference between the two, and it is an unconditional order. There is nothing like if this will happen then you will pay, if that will happen then will you pay. There is nothing of that sort. Next point, everyone, bills of exchange. Find the due date of the bills of exchange dated 9th December, payable after 45 days. Always remember, when will you consider the days of the months as well? That means whether the particular month is of 30 days, whether the month is of 31 days, when the question relates to days. If it would have been a month, then we do not worry about the fact whether this month was of 31 days or 30 days. Go ahead and calculate, everyone. What would be the answer? Ninth of December. Do not include 9th of December in it. 31 minus 9. You will get 22 days of December. And we need total 45 days. And that means 31 days of Jan. I'm calculating it for you. It turns out to be 22 days of December, 31 days of Jan. How many days are done? No, this will go beyond it. I'm looking forward to 45 now. 23 days of Jan would do. Out of 31, 23 days of Jan are done. After 23rd, I'll have to have 3 days of grace period. But always remember, 26th of January is an official public holiday in our country. So if it's a official public holiday, then prepone the date. So in this case, the date would be what? The date would be 25th of January. Right? Error in this question. It is 2008, 25th. Next question, which of the following is true? Insolvent is a person for whom some portion of the debt is irrecoverable. Drawer drags the drawee to the court in case of dishonor of accommodation bill. When the due date of a bill falls on a public holiday, it is payable on the earlier working day, or drawee is the person to whom the bill is endorsed. Very good. It is 25th. Promissory notes are also unconditional as such, Akshay sir, but it's just that I would say that it is a promise. I am coming to promise you that I promise you to pay so much of money after so much of time. So while in terms of our bills of exchange, it is totally different. Na? In terms of bills of exchange, there is a clear-cut order. You have to pay. That is the point that is occurring in terms of both of these. So in this case, I would say this is what we did in a practical question right now. So the correct answer would be C. Next question. Dash is an operation in which one can make risk-free profits by undertaking set of transactions. It can be interest rates, that is borrowing at one center, lend and another at a higher rate. Arbitrage, forward, future and swaps. Derivatives, everyone. Module C. Go ahead. Arbitrage. Everybody, please keep on updating about your PPA-B examination as well. How did it go? What's your score there? See, forwards and futures. If we talk about forward contracts, they are basically the ones which are OTC, over the counter. We sit down, we talk, and I say, sir, I would like to buy this particular thing from you after so much of time. That is forward contracts. Futures is we should not talk. Let's have a particular regulatory body who will take care of this working. So there is a particular systematic order way of working. Swap is I have a currency, you have a currency, we exchange. I'm looking forward to something else, right? In this case, the answer is arbitrage. In this market, the rate of something is 100. In this market, if the rate is 102, I will buy from here and sell here, and I'll make a profit of 2 just because the markets are not centrally regulated. There's a difference. Very good. The answer is arbitrage. Next question. Spot exchange rate is 1.5. Interest rate differential is 3%. Then forward period is of 90 days. Number of days in an year is 360 or 365. You can take it as 360 days. Calculate the forward points. Important point. Calculate the forward points. How do we calculate the forward points, everyone? This is 1.5 multiplied by 3% multiplied by 90 days. Find the forward points, everyone. Calculate it for me, please. What would be the answer? Is it 0.01125? 0.2232, 1167 or 1786? It is only for 90 days. A, everyone? Getting the answer there? Correct. The answer is A. This is basically a question created out of the Macmillan book itself. What is the formula? Spot rate multiplied by interest rate differential into forward period divided by 100 into number of days in a year. The answer is 0.1125. Next question. Which of the following statements is correct about the forward rates? In case of direct rates, if the forward rate is more than the spot rate, the base currency is at premium. In case of direct rates, if the forward rate is less than the spot rate, the base currency is at discount. The forward premium or discount expressed in the basis points is called forward points. Ma'am, I have covered the module D in the beginning. Acha, in the costing, I had covered a lot of questions of costing in the previous class, na? That's why. What I can do is I can add a few more questions of costing and we'll share it in the Telegram channel there. This is actually a mix of many different questions based upon the marathon there. Since I'd covered a lot of questions in the marathon, right? And ma'am, if you're looking forward towards costing questions, module D had been covered in the first mini marathon. The complete module D. There were many questions from the area of costing itself. So you can do it from there as well, right? All of the above. In the past few days, I've tried to cover each and every portion of the book, module A, module B, C, D, so that every module can be covered properly. Next question. Which of the following factors determine, this is not the number there, the forward points? Supply and demand of the currency being settled there, market view, the interest rate differential between the countries whose currency are being exchanged, or all of the above. Forward points, everyone? Expected to be there in the question, in the examination there. Which of the following factors determine the forward points? Very good, ma'am. It's all. It's all of the above. Next question. The cost of equity share or debt is called related cost of capital, easy to calculate cost of capital, specific cost of capital, or burden on the shareholders. The cost of equity share or the cost of debt. Okay, how do we denote it? Cost of equity is written as KE, cost of debt is KD. Another important topic for the examination is WACC, weighted average cost of capital. We need to know what is the cost of debt and cost of equity. Everyone, if I am putting money into the business, I will look into the fact, if I'm giving money to the business, what is business giving me back? I will always look into this. If I'm putting my money in an FD then even I'm looking at it, why won't I look it into the business there? Hai na? So in this case, what will happen? In this case, the actual answer is a specific cost of capital. Why? Because either it has to be cost of equity, either it has to be cost of debt, or there is one more thing. It has to be cost of preference shares as well. Sir, liability is a burden, but the fact is equity and preference both cannot be called a burden. In this case, we are being specific. Either we have a cost of equity, either we have a cost of debt. For years, people used to believe that when we talk about cost, there is a misconception, also written in the Macmillan book there, that there is a misconception that the cost of debt is more than that of equity. Just because I have money in my pocket and that money is being used there, that doesn't mean the cost isn't incurring on me. Normally, the cost of equity is more than that. Why? What happened is, instead of going for debt, Akshay sir, I expect good number of questions from the costing area this time. When it comes to the area of process costing, marginal costing, there would be at least 1 to 2 questions from standard costing. Then basics of costing there would be there. And then in terms of the income tax, there would be questions from the area of deductions. Go through the deductions properly, right? Sir, when we talk about this entire area, what happens is, see the misconception there. I took a debt there. I took a debt, put it in a project. The organization started earning a good amount of money. Then the money increased manifold. I paid the amount to the debt. I paid off their interest. then my equity shareholder would be sitting here and would be definitely annoyed with the fact that if the organization has started earning a lot because of debt, where is his share? He was the risk taker. He allowed the company to take the debt, and that is how they are growing. So if you take a debt, your cost of equity will increase further. So normally there is a misconception that just because we have to pay to someone else, this is more costly on our pocket. No, this is more costly on our pocket. If we take a lot of equity as well, we are losing voting power. If we take a lot of debt, still we have to keep them happy. If we do not give them good amount of dividend, they will get annoyed. The share price of the organization will go down and less people will definitely take up the shares. Vanita ma'am, it was covered in module D on Wednesday. I think I'll ask them to tag it in the comment section for you. Okay, this question is a little out of line, so I'll just explain it. In weighted average cost of capital, WACC, that a company can affect the capital cost through. I think since this part is not properly given, I'll just tell you, policy of capital structure, policy of dividends, policy of investments. For weighted average cost of capital, we are considering all the three: preference, equity, as well as debt. So all these things are considered. And what is the formula for WACC? Everyone, an important topic for the exam. So in this case, it is going to be cost of debt multiplied by the weight of debt plus cost of equity multiplied by the weight of equity plus cost of preference into weight of preference. This is the formula. No, ma'am. See, the point is every single philosopher has a different thought process. This is a different thought process when it comes to liability and assets. You are looking at a different point of view. It's just like giving you a rationale there for this. That is, if I ask you about your professional life and personal life, both are a part of your life. But then sometimes you are just looking at this part. Sometimes you're just looking at this part. When we talk about debt and liabilities, they are on one side, while debt and equity is basically on one side. Assets are on the other side. How do we manage assets is a different scenario altogether. Because first of all, we have to arrange funds for that. Once, that is like from the professional life which we earn, and then we apply it in our personal life. Nobody keeps the money in the professional life. Nobody is going to keep the money running from the business back into the business. They need a little money for their household as well. Why are we making a business? So that we can have it. So basically, in terms of debt and equity, when we are talking about debt, preference and equity, they are on one side of the balance sheet, while the assets are on the other side of the balance sheet. And the more you manage your assets, the better it would be. Because if you do not manage your assets, how will you achieve the goals? Because if you are getting a lot of money in the business and you are not able to use it properly, you're not able to build up an asset for yourself, how will you grow further? So it plays an important role. Okay, next question. This is related to the beta. Which of the following model or methods makes us use of beta in the calculation of cost of equity? A very important concept again. Risk adjusted discount model, capital, Modi-Miller approach, approach, or then the next part is price earning method, PE. In R, it is given as earning price ratio. Akshay sir, what I'll do is I'll give the answer in the comment section there for you. I'll just keep a click of it. After the completion of the class, I'll do it. I think it won't take much time there. It is given on 25. Always remember, Akshay sir, the day on which you actually issue the bill, that particular day is never considered. Chaliye. That particular day is never considered. So in this case, in November, the last 5 days are left. Then December, that was expected on 25/13. I'll just do this. The sir has asked a specific question that is on 25/11/2013. We issued a bill, right? A bill is drawn on 25/11/2013 as payable after 60 days after the due date. So in this case, 60 days now, 5 days of November, then 31 days of December, then the remaining days would be of Jan. So in this case, we have already got 36 is done now out of 60. We are left with 24. So that would be 24th of January. Always remember this day is not considered. Correct. So in this case, the correct answer will come out to be 24th and then you add 3. It will go to 27th of Jan. It will go to 27th. Because you will have to add 3 days of grace as well, na? 3 days of grace are also there. If it goes just 1 day before, then it would have changed the scenario altogether, because 26th Jan, then you have to prepone it. Done? Chaliye, next, beta. When we define beta, na, beta is actually the multiplier, or you can say the sensitivity. For example, you said something to me in a normal tone that, ma'am, this is it. And I'm like, oh, you said it in a bad way. I took it in a bad way. Matlab, from 1, it went up to 1.5 in my mind. Or maybe you said something, ma'am, this has to be done. I'm like, we'll do it. That means I didn't pay much attention. I went up to 0.5. Beta is the effect or the multiplier or the sensitivity analysis portion there. Since this particular coefficient, it defines that how much sensitive that particular organization is towards the market dynamics. This is done in CAPM model. In this case, when we talk about CAPM model, the CAPM model says your risk-free rate, this is what you get from the market normally without taking any risk. Then you add up beta. With beta, you write what? You write what is the rate of the market and remove the risk-free portion. The remaining is what? If from the total you remove the risk-free portion, the remaining portion will be the risk. So in this case, what would be the correct answer? The answer is capital asset pricing model. Expected to be asked in the examination. A very important model as well. This is CAPM model. Next question. This is capital asset pricing model. Everybody, dash rate is the rate that the firm pays to procure financing. Average cost of capital, then we have combined cost, economic cost, or explicit cost. Okay, the remaining 3 are something that doesn't give me the feeling of being in the accounting as well. So when we talk about the rate that the firm pays to procure financing is the explicit. Achha, this is for costing. This is for costing. When you're trying to procure money, na, then explicit cost or in terms of costing, Vinita ma'am, we were talking about costing as well. Na. This is not given in the Macmillan book, but there is a particular concept called out-of-pocket expenses. The expenses which we are paying. I'm taking money out of my pocket and paying to someone. Those kind of expenses are explicit. That means I have to make the payment. Next question, I hope it's visible. Which of the following statements is correct? Retained earnings of the firm have no cost in arriving at WACC. Flotation cost of the capital reduces WACC. Then normally the cost of equity is higher than the cost of debt. Taxation is not considered while deciding the capital structure. Taxation is one of the basic reasons that we go towards debt. Pata? Many organizations, they are just growing and they have money in their pocket. There is nothing like they cannot take or afford the particular thing they want to buy. but still they are like, we are getting inflow of money now, let's take a loan. Why? Because we can cry in front of income tax department, hi, we paid interest, hi, we are paying interest. We can create that hue and cry, and they will agree on that part, and they will reduce our profit. Why? Because whatever our profit would be, they will allow it as interest. Our profit goes down, our tax will go down, and our equity remains intact, our money will go further. So capital structure, yes, it has, capital structure is badly affected by tax. But is it really not considered? It is considered. Matlab, acha, in this case, I made the mistake. This one, they are looking forward towards the correct answer. Hai na? In this case, they are looking at the... Sure, just give me a moment there. So when we talk about which one of the following is correct, when we're looking for the correct answer, retained earnings, they have a cost. In this case, the correct answer is normally the equity is higher than that of debt. We just talked about it, that the cost of equity will be more than cost of debt, because even because of debt, once you start earning more, the equity shareholder is going to look at you, ki what are you doing exactly? What is it that I can take out of it? Hai na? Okay, now going back to the last question. Explicit cost. In this case, what is the rate that the firm pays to procure financing when you are trying to get some money for yourself from the outside world? That is something which they call it as the explicit cost. That is called explicit cost. Okay, so I hope even the second shift is also over right now. So with the last question to this particular session, let's end this particular session. And everybody, after this, please keep me updated about your marks tomorrow. I'll be waiting for you in the analysis. After the first shift, we'll be meeting. So please be there in those sessions as well. Let me know about the kind of questions that has been asked. What was your overall view about it? And prepare well. Just the last step before I end my particular session, do not focus on MCQs. MCQs is not the thing that you should be looking forward to. You should be looking forward to the conceptual knowledge behind it, because do not expect that the same questions are going to be there. If there are 50 questions, same 50 questions, same 100 questions, there are less chances of having more than 10-15 questions from the same areas. So it's way better if you're focusing on the concept. The number of questions you can cover in the examination is going to increase, right? So you just have to broaden up your horizon. Okay, with this last question, I would be saying goodbye and would be meeting you in our regular sessions and tomorrow for analysis. So kindly be there for the analysis as well. Which of the following approaches is not used for deciding the capital structure? Net income approach, net operating income approach, and traditional approach. CAPM. CAPM is always used or not. Traditional approach, net income, acha, is not used for deciding the capital structure. When we're looking at the capital structure, then we do not pay attention towards CAPM, because CAPM is something which is related to a separate concept altogether. It is related to a separate concept altogether. This is not related to the area of capital structure. Okay? Debt, equity, their balancing, to what extent we should pay, it has nothing to do with CAPM. Chaliye, this is the end of the session there. Still a good number of questions are left. I'll be putting it up in the Telegram channel for you so that you can prepare from there. Keep on preparing well, everyone. I'll be meeting you in the upcoming analysis session, and we'll be meeting at 4:30 for a special session as well. So be there at 4:30 as well. And right now, I think the analysis is just about to start. So go ahead and join the analysis, and all the very best for tomorrow's examination. Just a few things to be taken in your mind. Be calm when it comes to the questions. Do not focus upon what you cannot do. Sometimes we focus upon the negativities of life, even in the examination. And that is where we lose our morale. One of the best ways to look at your life is to be little. Sometimes it's not possible, especially in the examination. That is to be little optimistic. Whenever you are scared of something, do not focus upon what you are scared of in your examination. Be sure about what you already know. So first of all, focus upon what you can do in the examination, then play with the guess game. Obviously, this would help you out in terms of mental strengthening, because what happens is sometimes we get scared. If you give me questions, if there are 10 questions and I don't know about the answer of the first 10, I will lose my morale. And what if after those 10 questions comes a situation where from 10 onwards towards the 100 question, I know each and every question? This will break my morale. So this is way better. When you see these kind of questions, skip for the moment, focus upon what you can do first, and then cry about this later on. Ki, acha, this particular question I had no clue. Because after the moment is gone, then you can cry. In the moment, you have to find your opportunity. Right? With this motivational quote, this is where I end my session. For any kind of classes regarding CIIB after you are done with your JAIIB, you can look forward towards our website for the same as well, or our app further. Right? So I'll be meeting you in the analysis session tomorrow. I'll be definitely waiting for your answers and your inputs regarding the particular examination. So please keep me updated regarding the same and be there in the morning, evening analysis sessions. Thank you so much, everyone, and all the very best.